Do you ever wonder how manufacturers find the proper connector to plug or just connect to the other side of another connection on whatever vehicle you're trying to adapt something to? Stick around and we'll show you how you can find these connectors. Welcome back over to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be covering how to find the correct connector for your application, utilizing the stamp number on the connector, whether it's printed or actually stamped in the connector housing itself, or simply by using schematics and wiring diagrams through different sources. In order to do this, it does help to have a friend who may have the required access to locate these specific connections, no matter if it's for a certain component or a certain circuit on a specific vehicle. More than likely, you're going to have a number that's stamped or printed, which will make it easy, or at least if you know what component it goes to, i.e. a temperature sensor or something like that, you should be able to kind of figure out. It also helps if you have an idea of what kind of connector, whether it's Delphi, Aptiv, TE connectivity, Deutsch, or a variant thereof. And sometimes you do have to search, and sometimes things just are not available, like this connector here that we had to 3D print because it was not available or very difficult to find. Some of these things you'll be able to locate on various websites such as AliExpress, Alibaba, Amazon, Mauser, TE Connectivity, TTI. One that we do use quite often is corsatechnic.com. So there's a bunch of different places that you can utilize to obtain these specific plugs. But what we're going to show you is how to take a number like this and then put it into, let's say, Google, and then pull down the schematic and look at the keyways on these specific plugs. So when you look at this plug, you'll notice that here you have a raised section here and a raised section here, and then these are for the secondary lock that comes in on the top. But the orientation at which these fins here on the top determines what key it is. So this one may be, let's say, a key A, and then this one's a little bit better example. So you can see here that you have little keyways on the sides here and here, and then there's one directly in the middle. You may have another one, like this one might be key A, but then the one that you need is a key B, which may have this one in its original spot like this. And then this one down here, this keyway is going to be a little bit lower. And that may be like a keyway A or a keyway C. And if you end up ordering the wrong one, you'll end up not being able to mate the two connections together. So that's what we're going to show you in this video.
All right, the second way I'm going to show you is by using some of your resources, right? So we can go to this tool that Mopar has. I'm not sure if there's a tool like this for GM, as most of the stuff that I work on is Mopar, Ram trucks, Jeep, what have you. But they do list connector repair kits. Now, it says find a vehicle, right? So you can go here, which is search by year and platform. You can search by kit number, gender, and cavities. So if you know how many cavities, as in how many spaces there are for pins in the connector, you can search by that, or if you know the connector number, and I'll show you how to find that later on. But here we're just going to go ahead and we're going to select our vehicle. So we have a Ram, and you can select any vehicle you want, but I'm going to do our Ram truck. We're going to go find. It is now going to show me all of the connections that are in the vehicle. And now keep in mind, these are going to be replacement connectors or repair kits. So it's going to be an entire kit. So don't be surprised if these are way expensive, but they'll be available. So if you absolutely need a connector, you like to replace it, you can get this from the dealership, or probably take this part number and punch it in on Amazon or whatever. But okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to just select a known part. So let's go ahead and do fuel heater. Okay, so it's going to show me the end view. It's going to give me the full repair kit part number for FCA or RAM truck. So this is the dealer number here, the part number. It's going to tell me how many cavities are in that plug or connector. It's going to tell me what circuit it's on, what gauge wire it utilizes, what color wire, and then it's going to give me the function. So this one has 2 cavities. It's got a fused battery positive, and it has a ground. Then it gives you a depiction of the connector itself, and then it gives you an isometric view to show you exactly what this connector actually looks like. Okay. So now what we can do is we can print this out. You can use this to send a picture to one of those companies, whoever you're sending it to, and go from there. Another thing that you can do is you can try to come to Mauser, and you can try searching this number. More than likely, it's not going to bring you anything up because it doesn't actually give you the part number for this. It gives you a Mopar part number, which is not going to reference anything to Mauser or TE connectivity or any of these big names. So come in here. You know the kit number, fuel heater, 2-way. It gives you all the different model years that it was used on, and this more than likely will just take you right back to the same thing. Okay. So what we can try to do, we can come over here and go to Google. Okay. And so here's the entire kit, $24 here, $18 here. So it just all depends on, who's selling it, how much they want for it. Now, another thing that you can do is you can come over here to Course Technic, and I've already identified our plug here. So it's this plug. Oops. This plug that we have here. So I knew what it was. I knew it was a Bosch. I ended up Googling 1928404. It brought me up that it was a Bosch compact kit or compact plug housing, and so I just went to Corsa Technic and clicked on their manufacturer, Compact One. You can do the same thing on Corsa Technic by searching number of ways. So this would be a 4-way connector, and it'll show you all the 4-way connectors. And sometimes you even have to line these up to where you can actually visually match them. Okay. So let's get back to our original connector, right? So the fuel heater connector. So another way that I do it is you can go to components, harness connectors. So this is just Chilton library. This, if you're in the military, this is free to you. Active duty reserves, National Guard. If you hold a Department of Defense ID, you are able to access this website. The banner up at the top may just change a little bit. However, this is a really good source of information for those of you that have a DoD ID card. Now, the one caveat to this is that it does not go down super far into the year range. So if you have a 2023, 2022, 2021, and I think even down to like 2020, they may not have your specific vehicle loaded up into this system. So it'll be very difficult for you to match that component. If it's similar, like let's take for instance the Cummins motor. If I knew I had a 2018 truck and in 19 they changed the motor, but they did not change the, let's say, the fuel heater, I would be able to utilize the 18 model year to get my connector. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and look for this fuel heater. So we can scroll, or I think we can actually search it as well up here. So we'll try fuel heater. Okay, now it'll show me in the harness connector sensor 1, sensor C1, and then they have sensor C2. You just go on here and you click on it. Okay, here we are. All right, so here's my part number. Here is my repair kit number. So 6804-5336 alpha alpha. This one's a little bit different, but it may match the other one of the other connectors. Okay, so this is telling me that it's a YESC connector subassembly. It has 2 cavities, and then it's giving me the keyway outline, and it's showing me another isometric view. This looks like a slightly different connector, but it will still tell me the gauge size, the color of the wires, what their function is, and then what pin number they are, and then it depicts the pin number in order. Okay, this is all stuff that will be accessible through, let's say, a repair shop, or some of your local schools may have it. I know in one of our local schools they had an auto shop that had some of this, so you may be able to employ your kids or something like that to maybe do some of this search now for you. But this is sensor C1. The one that we looked up before was probably sensor C2. Let's see if we can load C2. Okay, so 68316-032 alpha alpha. All right, now this one looks a little bit closer. But this is the whiff sensor. So, okay, so we're going to go up to this sensor. Sometimes the sensors also don't match very well either. The picture that you see on here can be kind of misleading, but let's go ahead and see if we can find one of the connectors. So we're going to go ahead and copy this, and then we're going to place it into Google. Okay, so now we have a Yazaki connector. This is another website, Nexus Electronics. They end up doing a lot of stuff. Sometimes you can order stuff from them. Sometimes it's a little more difficult, but you can see here this connector is only $4.75. You may have to order 25 pieces like this says, but generally this is where I would go over to Corsa Technic, and Corsa Technic will sell you eaches or individuals. They just might be a little bit more expensive, so instead of paying $4.75, you might pay $6.75 or $10 for the one connector. But if you order a few of them, they might make you, a little bit better deal. Either way, it tells you it's a 6.3 by 0.8 connector, so this would be the pins. The pins are going to be 0.8 width-wise. It tells you the gender of it, dark gray housing, and then sometimes you'll get a schematic or something like that. There is our compact connector right here that you can see. So this is another connector that we found. And so simply by taking like this connector here, we know that this one is probably the mate for this one. And I'll show you how to find that. So a lot of times if they don't give you the schematic in here, I'll go up to Mauser. I'm sorry, Mauser is here. Okay. Post it into here. Okay, so here you have the Yazaki connector, but there's no associated 3D image or anything with it. And sometimes you'll have that where these connectors are very difficult. This is super time consuming portion of it, where you may have to go into um, finding like the Yazaki catalog and looking at all kinds of different things. But generally speaking, if you're looking at Yazaki, so if we go here, you can do by manufacturer. And so you have Yazaki here, you click on Yazaki. And it's a YESC Kaizen 6.3. So we'll click on it. This is just giving you guys an example of how time consuming this can be to find all this stuff. But for some things, it's not this hard. Some things you'll get it right away. Some things it'll be more difficult than others. Okay, so you see here YESC Kaizen Series Connector 6.3 by 0.8. And then you have a Kaizen connector. This is a 6-way. The one that you need is a 2-way. So the best you could do on this one is to call them and just say, hey, this is what I need, and they can try to match it for you. You can look up the Yazaki catalog, and a lot of times you can pull that down, go through it, and then you'll be able to match certain part numbers, and it'll tell you what the mates are. Okay, let's do one more, and I will give you maybe another way to do this. Maybe we can find something that's a little bit better. So for this one, let's go ahead and I'm going to show you guys how to get the schematics as well. Okay, here we go. So we have a natural in color. This is your harness connector, the number for it. So if you need to find it on a location chart, it can tell you where it's at. It has a cavity count of 2. Tell you where the location view is. Click on that. It'll give you the mating side, which is this one that we're looking at. Wire insertion side, and this is one thing that you want to look at too. This says it's an amp, so we automatically can assume that this is an amp connector. I think amp is with Tyco as well. Okay, again, it tells me what the circuit function is, the gauge, wire size, color, circuit number, and pin. So let's go ahead and we'll copy this connector number, and we'll head on over to Mauser. Paste it into Mauser's search. Okay. So now it gives me a nice little picture of what this is, but we want the other end of it, right? We want the mate. It tells me that TE Connectivity is the manufacturer of this product. And here's where your data sheet is. Okay, this is where we're going to get into actually reading the data sheet and the technical drawings. So you can identify these little tabs that are right here. These are your keys. Okay, let's see if we can get this to open. Awesome, so we got it to open. And so now you're going to see your technical drawing. It's going to give you dimensions. Most of the time they're going to be in millimeters, and it will tell you exactly what size it is and some pertinent information about it, how far the spacing is between the center lines of the 2 pins or the terminals. It'll tell you what the center line is from the center of the connector to the center of the pin, the height of it, and all that good stuff. Okay. It'll tell you here, this is your natural color, this is your black, and then these are the respective part numbers. It's a cap housing, SSC 2 position, and this one is a key A. So if you were going to look for a mate, you would want to look for the mate in a key A. Okay, so this is an amp connector, so you can take these numbers, and if you wanted to, you can go up here to Tyco amp TE connectivity connectors. You can click on that. And that was an SSC, so I'm going to assume it's a sealed sensor connector series. Okay, and now this is a keying A. So what we have here is your SSC two position A key, two-way kit, housing 2-pin contacts, 2 seals, and a lock. So this kit you can buy from Corsa Technic, and this is your price for the kit. You can select your wire size based off of whatever it says on, let's say, Chilton. So if you need to repair the wire, it's a 1.0 gauge and a 0.5, which I think 0.5 ends up being about an 18 gauge, 18 or 20. Okay, so we got that. Here's your keyway D, keyway G. And you can see the difference between the keyways, right? So you have this bottom one, this side one, it shifts. So keyway G is going to be a little bit higher on this one, and then the keyway on the bottom is going to be to the left instead of almost directly in the center. Okay, and then you can pick your insulation types, or you can put a plug. So these are all your keyways, just like I said. Here's your OEM part number, and if you wanted to, you can take this and you can cross-reference it back into Mauser. Okay, so here it is, reference back into Mauser. They don't have it, but TE connectivity may, and you may be able to get it directly from them in whatever color and keyway, but generally you're not just going to be able to order all this stuff from one entity. One place is going to carry some, another place is going to carry another one, and so you're going to be shopping around. It's very unlikely that you will find all the connectors in one location to purchase, and a lot of times, more often than not, I have to purchase some from Corsa Technic or TE Connectivity or Mauser, and then also some more on like Alibaba or AliExpress. So these are just a couple things that I wanted to cover with you guys as far as some resources and how you can actually obtain certain things. The one thing I did want to show you is the wiring diagrams in Chilton. So this is a paid subscription as well that you can obtain through Chilton, and you can actually get location views for certain things. So if you're ever wondering, let's say, see if they've got the center stack. See if it'll load it. Okay, so this will give you some of the connectors, and again, where I showed you before on the connector number, you can go down here and you can select whichever ones you like. These are inline harnesses. I think the S3, S4, S5, those are all potentially splice points. But it'll actually go and depict where exactly this connector lies within your vehicle. All right, so we'll go down some more. Let's go into the actual wiring diagram if we can. Little body, okay, doors. And actually, we don't want to go doors. Let's go lighting, exterior lighting. Okay, so let's say you wanted to see where all your headlamps get power from. And it'll come in here and it'll tell you where each module is at, what it does, what kind of fuse is, inline dash engine transmission connector. It'll give you the pin number. Here's the connector right here. So C3 pin 13 comes off of the assembly power distribution center, so your fuse box. Goes to your lamp under hood, all that good stuff. It goes to body control module here. Right, provides power through C7 and I think that's 6. All right, and then it pushes power out to your headlamps. So this is one good way. Here's your grounding points. Here's it's like a splice point here. And some of this stuff is interactive, so if you wanted to see like C1 connector, sometimes you can click on them and it'll take you to whatever, but doesn't look like these are that interactive. But anyways, just wanted to show you guys that. Hopefully this helped. If you have any questions, please drop a comment down below. Make sure you like this video, smash that thumbs up button, hit the bell notification so you get notified when I upload content. And again, we'll see you on the next upload.